Well, good afternoon everybody, it's Richard here, and I'd just like to wish everybody in the YouTube community and all my subscribers a very happy new year and a very happy 2014, and I hope this year is going to be as exciting as last year, probably better for some people, and you know, certainly I'm looking forward to it. And we've had some horrendous weather here in the UK in the last few weeks. We've had floods, we've had torrential downpours, and some people have really been suffering, as you may have picked up from the news reports that we've been having over here. So much so that when I've been out running, I've had to do quite a bit of detouring to avoid the River Medway, which runs through Maidstone where I live. And even yesterday the water was still quite high. I think it's been the highest I've ever seen it. At one point when the water was down to its normal level almost, the flotsam and jetsam was about 6 feet above me, you know, about 10 feet actually, 6 feet, so really up here, and loads of sort of silt on the footpath that I normally run along, and very large puddles along to Allington Lock, which is where there's some very large sluice gates. Yesterday the centre one was completely open and the tide was in, because part of the Medway is that it's tidal and fresh water, and the tidal end, the tide must have been in because the water was at the same level as the water running out, which is interesting, which was causing quite a bit of froth in the middle, as it were. And so very exceptional weather. I have to say that this workshop that we're standing in is actually dry, and I've been checking regularly. Luckily during the summer months I did some maintenance to re-stain the outside and protect it and all, but my garage, the roof is giving out there and it's leaking. I've got buckets in there, but things are okay. So this year I've got to have a new roof on the garage, I think, but it certainly finds the places out. I've just turned the radio down a bit. I've got Classic FM on there, and I thought I'd give you a bit of an update. I suppose this is part 2 of the Volmar Gramophone refurbishment, and this afternoon I thought I'd just update you about where I am and about 1 or 2 other things that have happened ever since. It's been quite a busy period, and I actually haven't been able to get back out here, partly because the weather's been so cold as well. Today it's about 6 degrees, according to the thermometer on the wall here, so it's about right, and we're expecting more rain later, so I thought I'd make the effort today to get out here, apart from all the things I've been doing over the Christmas period, which was great and very, very festive. Nice to see family, have a bit of relaxation, and also catch up. And I noticed that on YouTube people are very busy as well, so thank you very much for your comments. I'm using the new Google system, which I have to say I'm having to get used to, that thing on the up in the right hand corner that tells me when messages come in. So if I haven't got back to you, it may be my ignorance about the use of it, but I'm getting used to it, and I've been chatting to people online, and so on that too. So it's nice, keep the comments coming, great. So as you probably, just to recap, on the last video I did, I was talking about the Garrard 20 motor, and I was having some difficulty with that, having to get that to work, and I'd been in touch with Chris Baker Antiques, and he did operate a business down in Sandwich, and Sandwich has had some nasty flooding too. Unfortunately he's ceased trading now. He found that footfall to his workshop, or his shop as it were, was quite small, so he's shut up shop. But he put me in touch with a gentleman called John Speed, who's down in Devon and Cornwall, and I'd had a phone John, and he's been very helpful. So I'm just going to show you what we've got up to, because the problem with that motor 20, that Garrard 20, was I couldn't get it to work. And you know, these are fairly simple machines, and I've been dealing with gramophones for quite a few years now and taking them apart, but couldn't work it out. Anyway, so let me just take Mr. Panasonic. I've got a new system, so hopefully the glare from the light above won't be too much, and I can operate things. So, you know, I've got an old Lala lamp, some plumbing mate from Evo Stick, and hey presto, you've got yourself a tripod. Hang on a second, so just bear with me. So here we go. So this is the Garrard number 20 motor, but I've got a confession, this isn't the same one, because what John found was that he couldn't get it to work either. So he said sometimes there's just wear and tear on these things, and so much so that it's probably better to start again. So this is a replacement. So with all the postage and that, I paid him I think I only paid about £35 for this, and that's including both postage both ways, so I'm very pleased. And this one, I've had it fully wound this morning, and it's running alright. I haven't done a pressure test with I put the turntable on here, which is this one. I put the turntable on, and had it running, and I have to say it's extremely quiet. I've given it a re-grease as well today, and cleaned up some of the bits as well in there, just to make sure it's all working. There's a nice governor. It's all so it's basically ready now to go back into. And it really runs. Look, you can see it runs really smooth, and very little noise at all. So it's ready to go back onto the motor board, which is here, and on that basis. The other thing I've been doing from last time, probably just to let you know, is that I've painted these end pieces. I've actually done them in matte paint because I think they look better. They were in gloss, and I got this strap, if you remember, on eBay, and I polished that up, so that looks good. So that needs to go back here. I'll be doing that shortly. The actual tone arm, I've repainted that. The ring bracket, whatever you want to call it, and so I've done that, and that's had a few polishes. That's ready to go back, and the handle here is okay, so that's all right. So it goes back in there. So that's basically where I am with that one. Now, some of you may remember that perhaps you don't, but I actually sourced some spare parts for a gramophone, and I bought it from a guy just outside Maidstone, and this is the motor from it. This is again a number 20, would you believe? So and also it comes with its winding handle. Unfortunately, the gramophone itself, which was of Columbia, was full of woodworm, so I actually had to leave it outside. I luckily only wanted it for parts, but these are the parts from it, and I only paid about £21, which is cheap, I think. Even the sound box would have been worth more than that. And I've got the sound box, I think, up here. Yeah, there's the sound box, which is quite a nice sound box. I haven't tested it out, but let's just take that up one-handed. Here we go. It's a Melvatone. There we are, minor sound box, and so it's quite nice. So I'll have a give that a go sometime. Same sort of alloy backing that you have on most of these. So that itself, I think, probably would have been worth the £20 that I paid for the whole kit, basically. So these parts here, I took everything off I could. It's a swan neck arrangement on this one. Yeah, so I've taken as much as I can off there. But I mean, the motor itself is really good, and I've got an idea for a project for this, which I'm not going to tell you about at the moment, because it's an exciting little development. So I'm going to be using these, and it's always good to have some spare parts anyway, as you know, in case things go wrong. So there it is, literally just straight out from the case. As I say, the whole case, if you could imagine that this was the case lid, all of this was full of worm, and it collapsed as soon as I opened it. And I said to the guy, so I met him at a local golf club, I said, did you realise that it's full of worm? And he said, oh yes, he said it came from my grandmother's loft. And I said, blimey. I said, she checked the rest of the loft. He said, oh yeah, there was a few clocks up there and they seemed alright. But you wonder, don't you? God, do you wonder, because it was still active. There was plenty of worm in there. This is the turntable. It's quite a small one. It's more of us like an 8-inch turntable. I've cleaned this up a bit because all this felt to come undone from the edge, and I've given it a good brush and a bit of a polish, and it looks all right actually. And I say I've got a project in mind for this, which will need a small turntable, so I'm looking forward to that. So it's nice to have a few options about actually. And so there we go. The other thing is I've installed the Denon system into the workshop here, sorry, and I've put back the Jamo speakers, which actually do enhance the sound quite a bit. So there we go. I've given it a new aerial too. I think I might have mentioned that before. Sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean, doesn't it, this tune? So there we go. Anyway, just nice to see you all again, and look forward to your comments, and speak to you soon.